Hey guys, this is Chris, Tabletop Sports Delaware, and we're bringing you the third setup video for Warfighter. I'm looking the wrong way again. Warfighter, the World War II tactical combat card game by DVG Danverson Games, 2016. This is the second printing for World War II Europe. And in the last video, we went over selecting and equipping our soldiers, and also placing our counters on the soldiers, equipment and other various paraphernalia that they will be using during the short little mission that we're going to be doing after this video. So this is the final setup video, and let's go ahead and move these guys off to the side, and be right back and we will continue. Alrighty, so we are going to finish this up. Let's see, we have selected our hostiles. I just need to get them out. We're going with frontline German hostiles. Also, I have everything out here. Okay, cool. I have everything here that I need in order. I was foresightful. So the rest of the setup, let's put our cards first. We have the event cards. Such noted, they go in the space in the upper left of the board, which is out of view at the moment. Then you have your location cards, which have been sufficiently shuffled. The location deck goes right there. Then you have your German frontline hostiles. We had them out a couple of times, so let's give them a couple of nice little I don't know where you are shuffles real quick. Normally you would have these cards, your soldier cards, off the game board. I snuck them on there a little bit so you could see a little better what's going on. Have everything in view. Constrictions of table space and Strat Central. Hostile cards go here. And of course your action deck goes right there. I've shuffled that. It's a big deck. I'm not going to worry about shuffling it again. It has been done sufficiently. So we're going to go to deal action cards. Now all of your, by the way, put the inactive timer on the objective. It only becomes active when it is activated, and it only reinforces when it has been activated. And the timer, since it is time 9, we're going to stick it up there on number 9. Now we are going to deal our action cards, and our action cards are dealt to each player soldier equivalent to their health. So Indy has a health of 6, so he's going to get 6 cards. If we had had a second player soldier, we could have had 2 decks. More cards with which to work. And I figure this will be an easier one to go through. I probably won't succeed, but yeah, whatever. So Indy gets 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, he's going to be able to do all kinds of things with this. First of all, if you have any location markers, discard them off to the side, take a location into your hand. Now they have a location to move from. You have Snapshot, that's a good one. He can take an attack without you spending an action, or he can upgun to do that. Suppress is good to cancel the attack. Sniper support. Support 2, so you would have to discard 2 action cards to do that. Then 1 each soldier turn, attack a hostile card with a value of 0 or 1 and inflict a hit automatically. Then it costs 2 XP to retain it from round to round. Move out. You or any soldier, if you upgun it, may perform a move without spending an action. That's a good one to have. And sacrifice. When a soldier is suffering wounds, instead inflict the soldiers on another soldier in that location. Not a bad starting hand, but that is dealing out action cards. Next is place soldiers on the mission cards. And this is done by taking your numbered soldier markers first. Your player soldier is soldier number 1. You can do it in any order you want, but I generally do that as 1. My non-player soldier is soldier number 2. My first squaddie is soldier number 3. Taylor and Smith is soldier number 4. And then they all start on the mission location card. So place these here so that way you know which soldier is where. Much easier to track that way. Alrighty, that is place soldiers on mission card, place mission timer counter, which I did, and that's pretty much it. Not a long rest of the video, so we may just take the first turn of this mission right now, just to show you how it works. Okay, here we go. We are starting out house to house. So, move the counter forward 1 space for each nature card we play. We have to remember that. And road is not okay, and always draw. Alright, so we are going to... also, one more thing forgot to do. And that would be to put our action counters next to our soldiers. So, and these are the experience points counters here. I just have them handy. So we're going to place 2 for Indy. Go right there, and you'll notice that if you flip it over, it has used. A little red bar across it. So, easy to keep track of when an action has been used or not. Alan is going to get 2. Like so. Taylor only has 1. He has 2 health, but only 1 action. And Smith only has 1 health, but he has 2 actions. He gets hit, he's out of it. And it is time for the first turn. So we are going to be doing the soldier turn. So the soldier turn, we take our actions. Various actions we can take. The first soldier action you can do is remove a suppress from a soldier that is suppressed. You may say Alan has a suppression marker. You may spend 1 action, or that soldier may spend an action to remove a suppression marker. Secondly, a soldier can perform a move action for 1 action. So let us say that Alan again, he wants to move into the next location, given he has the movement for it, so that is a 2. As long as it doesn't cost more than 2 for him to enter it, he can spend an action and move into the next location. The third thing a soldier can do on the soldier turn that costs an action is to attack. So if they were to attack a hostile with a weapon of theirs, they would spend 1 action, and then they could perform the attack action. The fourth thing that a soldier can do on their turn that costs an action is to reload a weapon that has gone empty. The reload rolls for each weapon are noted on the weapons, and if the die 10 comes up for reload, that means that the ammo magazine is empty. And the soldier must spend an action to remove the empty magazine, remove it from the game, and start with a fresh magazine ready to go. The fifth thing that can be done on the soldier's turn that costs an action is discard and draw. The player soldier can keep what cards they want, if any, spend an action, like so, discard the rest, and draw from the action deck back up to their health, which is their hand size. So they could draw back up to 6 cards. This, you keep getting fresh cards into your hands, and this is something you want to do as often as you possibly can. It does cost an action, but it gives you a lot more things to choose from, which are going to help you succeed in your mission. The sixth thing that a soldier can do is engage in hand-to-hand combat. Now they would have to have a melee or another weapon that would allow them to do that, and to do so, each site has that hand-to-hand combat action cost. This one is 2. You would have to spend 2 actions in order to engage in hand-to-hand combat at that site. If you had a location that had a higher cost to engage in hand-to-hand, such as this, which has a 3, you would have to place your hand-to-hand marker which in this instance, since it is soldier number 1, you would take the one marked with a 1 so you know which soldier is going to be engaging in hand-to-hand. You would actually place it on the hostile. And then that soldier would spend 2 actions, but since it costs 3, he's done for the turn, and on his next action he can't do anything else. He has to spend a 3rd action, and then he is able to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Those are the 6 things that a soldier can do during the soldier's turns, which cost 1 action. Remove a suppress marker, move, attack a hostile, reload a weapon, discard and draw from the action deck, and engage a hostile in hand-to-hand combat. Now, there are things that a soldier can do during the soldier turn that does not cost an action. And that will include the following. The first thing would be to play an action card. It does not cost an action to do. And there are exceptions. Some cards say that at the beginning of the hostile turn, or the beginning of when a hostile attacks, or if a hostile is placed into your location, but by and large, you may perform an attack without spending an action. That must be played on the soldier's turn. Move out. That must be played on the soldier's turn without spending an action. Once each soldier turn. That's when it must be played. Play when a soldier is suffering wounds. That obviously would happen during the hostile's turn. Play after you roll for a hostile card's attack. Again, that would happen during the hostile turns. But anything that you, and there will, any costs that are associated with these cards will be on these cards. But generally, during a soldier's turn, during the soldier actions, you do not need to pay an action in order to play an action card. Another thing that does not cost an action to do on the soldier's turn is discarding a card for another player for any reason. Let's say that you have an entrance cost of 3 and a soldier only has a movement of 2. In order for that soldier to enter, you have to discard a card to make up the difference in movement. So that is something else you can do, which is discard an action card to aid another soldier in something that they're doing. For instance, movement. A third thing you can do, and I think this is a little misleading, but there are cards that do not require it, would be to play a location card. You can only play 1 location card per soldier turn. So you can't play a location card, move on to it, and play another one. You can only play 1 location card per soldier turn. And there are many soldier cards that are free to play, including the one that we drew for Indy, Road, free to play. So that does not cost an action, but a lot of them will state if it does require an action to be spent to play the card. So it's a little bit of both. You may have to spend an action to play a location card. You may not. It depends on the location card, and it will say on the card whether or not an action being spent is required. You can use an equipment card for free on the turn. Now, we did not cover equipment cards yet in this, so this is as good a time as any to do it. Equipment cards are going to have a grayish looking border, such as this entrenching tool, this canteen, and this first aid kit. Now, you can, using them is probably pretty self-explanatory, and some of them do take markers, so that way you'll know whether it has been activated or how many uses remain. But you can use any of these equipment cards during the soldier's turn without paying an action. Another free action is activating the objective card by taking the inactive off and allowing your hostiles to populate to spawn. This is with a caveat. As long as the player soldier is adjacent to it, it does not cost an action. He can do it from anywhere on the board, but he does have to pay an action to do it if he is not adjacent to the objective card. It does not cost an action to pass gear to other soldiers. If you wanted another soldier at the same location where you are to have your grenades, you could hand them to him. If you wanted to exchange ammunition, you could do so, and it would not cost an action. However, bear in mind the restriction that it must be the same kind of ammunition. A soldier who is using a weapon with 30-06 ammunition cannot exchange ammunition with a soldier who is using a weapon that uses 30 caliber. Where this 30-06, then they could exchange ammo. If he was getting low and he had a lot, he could pass some over, and vice versa if this was a 30 caliber. They're at the same location here. Dude, take a grenade. You're gonna need it more than me. Items cannot be exchanged because the squaddies do not come with anything. So that is primarily between player soldiers and non-player soldiers. Now, give me back my grenade, you moocher. Lighten the load. This is a calculated kind of thing. You may recall we spoke about hostiles, a certain reinforcement value of hostiles coming out depending on your resource points. Your resource points are tracked through the game. The more grenades you use, if you lose a soldier, your resource point total that you have at your disposal can decrease and drop you into a lower tier. So if you're just that close and you really want less hostiles at the next location you enter, you can drop a piece of equipment that cost you resource points in order to make that goal. And the last thing on this list is pay retain costs. Some of your cards, such as sniper support, once per soldier turn, attack a hostile card with a value of 0 or 1 and inflict 1 hit. No XP to play. Retain is 2 XP. During the soldier's turn, the retain XP must be paid if this card is going to be kept active for the next soldier turn. You can't see that card there. You can see it right there. It says retain 2 XP. Any soldier's XP can go towards paying for that retain cost. It can be a player soldier. It could be an XP from a non-player soldier. It could be even be an XP from a squaddie. As long as that is paid during the soldier turn, it remains active for the next soldier turn. And I think this might also be a good time to go over what happens during a hostile's turn. The first thing that happens on a hostile's turn is reinforcements. Any location where a soldier... We're going to take some off the bottom of the deck because we'll probably never get to them. Any location where you have a soldier present and there is a reinforce value here, then you reinforce. This says reinforce 0 to 2. That is the range of reinforce values that will stay here if they are drawn. And for this purpose, you only draw 1 card. Such as that. It has a reinforced value of 2. It falls within the range. The ambushers will stay. It also says frontmost. So if there were soldiers further forward, it would go where they are. However, these are the frontmost soldiers. That is where it will reinforce. So reinforcing is the first thing that happens on the hostile's turn. The second thing that happens on the hostile's turn is that the hostiles will now attack, including any hostiles that have just been reinforced. As long as the hostile is within range of its target soldier, then it will be able to attack. This can be done in any order you wish. It does not matter whether you start right to left, left to right. It's totally up to you. Bear in mind how many soldiers out of the reticle are left and make sure that you make the proper roll. So that way you're not doing your guys in for no reason. But the second thing that happens during the hostile's turn is hostiles attack. The third thing that happens is the hostiles will close range if they are not able to attack. So let's say in this instance, instead of targeting number 2, he was targeting number 1. His range is 0. He can only attack at the same location, not adjacent. If it was range 0 to 1, he could attack 1. However, he's not able to attack, so he will not take part in the hostile's attack phase of the hostile's turn. During close range, he will simply move 1 in the direction of his targeted soldier until he reaches the soldier and is able to attack on the following turn. Whether or not the soldier remains there or not, he moves until he gets to the same location. The fourth thing that happens during the hostile's turn, the fourth phase, is remove suppression markers. After all hostiles have attacked and closed range where needed, 1 suppression marker per hostile card may be removed at this time. This is the time where the hostiles recover to a degree and are able to continue on the next turn. And the final step would be advance the mission timer. The hostiles have done everything they're going to do. You advance the timer by 1 tick to indicate that a little bit of time has passed, and then you go to the next soldier turn. And I think that's where we're going to leave this video. 20 minutes is a good length. We covered some really good detailed stuff as far as how turns go, finishing setting up, and then turns in the game. So we will have a 4th video. We will play this short mission so you can see the game in action. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. This is Chris with Tabletop Sports Delaware. Keep on rolling.